Hello, gents. It's R.P.M. here. And as the modern woman has completely priced herself out of the market, I ask you, why pay to settle when you can pay for exactly what you want? With such models as Nava, Lashandra, and for those of you who want a little more junk in the trunk, Haley and her twin sister Bailey, you can find exactly what you want at the Dollhouse, DC Dollhouse, or the Dollhouse San Antonio. And remember, gents, when the power goes out, feminism will go out right along with it. However, your doll will never experience this. When you're ready, click those links in the description box. RPM, I am out. What is going on, gents? It's RPM here, reporting from the bunker. As you can tell by the intro, this will definitely be a waifu video based on what I'm going to talk about. Gentlemen, times have gotten very interesting as of late. Now, I didn't get a chance to talk about this in length, but out here in California, the rent moratorium finally expired. And yeah, even in my apartment building, I've seen a lot of people pull disappearing acts. So, of course, I talked to the maintenance guy and he was like, yeah, a lot of people were not paying their rent during the whole pandemic. So they decided to go ahead and, skip out on some of the units, which is great for me because the units right next to me on both sides are empty. But not to stray too far from the topic. The idea of cuffing season is definitely at the forefront for a lot of people because, as we all know, winter is here. So, of course, this has been at the forefront of a lot of articles that I've seen as of late. So I'm going to go into one. And this article is pretty lengthy, so I'm going to try to do what I can to cut it down. But it was published on the 6th of October. Is cuffing season a real thing? 5 things experts want you to know. So obviously, this is going to be slanted more towards the female side. As the weather gets colder and the days get darker, people look for comfort in a lot of ways. Well, we know when they say people, they really want to say women. One way is to quote unquote cuff a new hookup to help keep you warm. Depending on how you look at it and what you're looking for, cuffing season can be a blessing or your worst nightmare. Gentlemen, that's definitely a nightmare for you. Here's everything you need to know about this time of year, plus how to tell if your new relationship is for real or just an instance of cuffing. Quote unquote, cuffing is a term based on the idea of getting, quote unquote, handcuffed or tied down to one partner. It refers to when people get into relationships during the colder months of the year, even though they ordinarily wouldn't be interested in a commitment. Relationships formed during so-called cuffing season are usually short-term in nature and end once spring rolls around. Gentlemen, this right here is another page out of the female playbook. Now, of course, women will say, well, men are just as guilty of cuffing. But see, here's where the waifu comes in and can fill that gap, especially if you decide to pay a little bit more money and get yourself a waifu that has an internal heating unit. Just saying. When is cuffing season? Cuffing season begins as soon as it starts getting cold, sometime around the start of fall, and lasts until it starts to get warm once again in the early spring. Richmond and Spinelli say most people will start feeling the urge to cuff up around October to November, with cuffing season usually coming to an end around Valentine's Day. Why people couple up during cuffing season. People seek relationships during cuffing season for both emotional and physical reasons. Richmond explains, quote unquote, the emotional side is we've got the holidays where people go to their families and single people feel lonely or different or sad about not being coupled up, she says. The physical side, I think, is more of an evolutionary biology piece. We're pack animals, and in the winter months, we had to spend time together literally for warmth. That was back in the olden days. However, we have the conveniences of modern heat. So no, you could kind of say that about guys because we just want sex. However, once again, the waifu can actually come in and be that good old-fashioned piece that's there for you. Are you cuffed up? If you're wondering whether your latest fling is just a cuff, here are some signs to watch out for, according to Spinelli and Richmond. Any future plans do not go beyond the winter months. You do not go on many or any dates. There is a lot of excitement about holiday plans, but it just stays there. You are contacted out of the blue before holiday events, and it feels like there's a sense of urgency to get together. The intimacy tends to be physical, and there is a lack of deeper conversations or desire for emotional connection. There may be on and off ghosting. This person's relationships have a pattern of only lasting during the winter months. Most plans are about staying in bed rather than other activities, and any other plans are very low key. The sex feels, quote unquote, good enough for now. The person is emotionally unavailable. Gentlemen, once again, this is another look into the female playbook. Things to keep in mind during cuffing season. 1. Communication is key. Cuffing season can get messy when people aren't on the same page. Quote unquote, too often, Richmond notes, one person is more invested than the other, and then feelings end up getting hurt. Be sure that both of you have aligned expectations and intentions around the relationship. Number 2, be discerning, don't rush. Spinelli notes that while it's normal to want a companion during the winter months, it's important to be aware of that tendency. Try not to rush into a relationship if you notice an elevation of longing during the winter season, she says. Remember, you can always lean on friends and families and do activities you enjoy to help with some of that loneliness and boredom. Number 3, know when to set boundaries. Many people are uncomfortable with setting healthy boundaries. If you're starting to get the sense that you're caught up in a cuffing relationship and you're not on board with that, It's on you to say so. Pay attention to what's actually happening in the relationship and not what you want to happen. Richmond says, adding to hold that boundary yourself when necessary. Number 4, enjoy it for what it is. Now, if the two of you are on the same page about this being a temporary thing and you're both okay with that, let it be and enjoy it for what it is. Quote unquote. It's almost like imagining a beautiful container around those 4 or 5 months of the relationship, Richmond explains, but knowing it has its time and place. Number 5, and of course, take safer sex precautions. Just in case you needed the reminder, Richmond says taking safer sex precautions is also important, whether it's a hookup for the night or cuffing for 4 or 5 months. It's also not a bad idea to establish whether you're only seeing each other or if there are other hookups happening on the side. How to know if your relationship will last after cuffing season. Just because you got together during cuffing season doesn't mean the two of you have no shot at a long-term relationship. It's entirely possible, and there are definitely indicators that you're headed in a good direction. If your relationship does not have the typical signs of cuffing listed above and instead features a lot more emotional availability and intimacy, fun dates and affection, long-term plans, and so on, there's a good chance that your relationship has staying power. My. Well. Gentlemen, I hope you guys are not falling for this whole cuffing season thing. Better to be alone, especially in this day and age, than to be with any one of these women. Hell, even the Bible says it. Better to dwell in a forest or live on the corner of a rooftop than to be with a nagging or contentious woman. Gentlemen, you guys remember the video that I did about the mating crisis, right? And BGS did an epic rant on that one. But no, here we are. More chickens have come home to roost. Hey, big head, cuffing season, it's in full swing. I'm literally seeing it out here in California. Oh, yeah. And a lot of these women, they're not holding back. They are on the serious hunt. But guess what? I'm also seeing a lot more men say, nah, I'm not interested, or I'm good. More and more men out here in California are slowly waking up. And guess what? A lot of these women are terrified because they know they have no safety nets. Hell, even the meat sack has asked me for some things, and I'm like, no. If you want my time outside of any sort of family activity, you're going to pay me for it. If you need me to do something, you're going to pay. Period. Point blank. Gentlemen, look, observe, sit back, and enjoy the shit show. These women are getting exactly what they said they wanted. More men have walked away. And guess what? It's all burning down. Sometimes the best thing to do is nothing at all. See, this is why MGTOW is really, really hated. Because on one end, you got the PUAs, and on the other end, you got the incels. As much as I don't like to talk about that particular group of guys, but those two groups still rely on what? Female validation. True red pillars and MGTOWs have said, you know what? To hell with female validation. We validate ourselves. And that's what makes us the most dangerous group, according to them. We don't care about female validation. We have other options. We have other avenues. Just saying. But hey, it is what it is. Winter's here for a lot of you ladies. And it's going to be a very cold, lonely one. And guess what? Your fellow sisters brought this on you. Enjoy what you got. Well, read the whole article. Let me know what you guys think. Have you seen the Hey Big Head texts? Have you seen more women on the prowl during this cuffing season? Let me know in the comment section below. And ladies, for a lot of you, the power is getting ready to go out. Feminism and everything that you use to put men into a trick bag and think that you are going to be able to break them using the whole break in case of emergency hammer has gone out right along with it, because more men woke up, they saw your playbook, and decided they're not even going to play this rigged game anymore. That's all I got to say for this one. R.P.M. I am